Aries. Aries symbol. Today's Sun-Uranus square challenges you to break out of a rut or a pattern that's been preventing you from growing and changing, dear Aries. Be as mindful as possible, for if you act out without self-awareness, you may be taking risks, overpaying, or jumping into, or out of, something too quickly. It's also possible that uncertainty about your income or feeling of security can interfere with your desire to have fun today. Or, you may want to break free from old ways of doing things, but you're unsure about going ahead and doing so. Disruptions have a way of pulling up buried frustrations, and these can be highly revealing. Take your time with decisions and get in better touch with your intuition for the best results now. The moon spends the entire day in your home and family sector, a strong hint that you need to detox, relax, and look inward for answers. Taurus. Taurus symbol. Transits today stimulate a desire for something different, dear Taurus, but it may not be clear where to direct your energies. Impulsiveness can be a theme. Others may not be as reliable as you'd like, or they're put off by your own shows of independence. You could be feeling more rebellious, restless, and curious as Uranus, currently transiting your sign, clashes with the Sunday. Resist the urge to rebel or react abruptly, but do honor your need for a change so that you can gain some emotional refreshment. It could be helpful to minimize extras and distractions so that you can get a sense of your priorities. There are times when your inner rebel gets in the way of the calm and peace you seek, and today, this can be a strong tendency. Find a way to answer to your needs for both independence and comfort. Try to recognize those things that could steer you off course. Gemini. Gemini symbol. While the moon in your resources sector all day encourages a predictable pace, dear Gemini, today's Sun-Uranus square seems to have other plans. You can feel torn between playing things safe and making a change. You might watch for a tendency to communicate something that ends up causing a stir. It may be that a small part of you wants to break free from confining patterns or secrets, and this can be at the root of impulsive communications now. On some level, it may be a way of getting something out of your system. Misunderstandings with instructions or involving transportation may frustrate, and limiting distractions might help. Positively, plan or schedule changes may lead to new and exciting connections. It's best to be open and flexible rather than rooted and resistant with this transit. Cancer. Cancer symbol. A Sun-Uranus square lends unpredictable energy or surprise elements to the day, dear Cancer. You're a little more inclined to act from a place of emotion than you are from a place of reason, especially with the moon also transiting your sign all day. In truth, something that you've been sitting on may need to come out, and this can be a good thing, but it may be better to tone things down or choose a better time that's right for you to do so. You may be dealing with defensiveness with a friend or network, or you could feel limited, tied down, or restricted by someone. It's not the best day to stick to a rigid schedule. Your patience can wear thin at times today, but you could also find the motivation to fix a problem that ultimately serves you well. Leo. You may need to manage some unpredictability in your career or tension related to long-term goals today, dear Leo, as these seem to interfere with the enjoyment of the moment today. With the Sun in your sign clashing with Uranus, there can be surprises related to career, rules, and responsibilities. If you're frustrated about not having a clear goal or path, then consider focusing on small jobs with clear goals until things make more sense. It's possible that things may fall into place given a bit of time and space. Watch for provocative, rebellious, or abrupt behavior that works against you. Something needs to change, and it's best to identify it so you can be the one in charge, making improvements. If you can't find the source, then consider taking steps to reduce stress, especially with the moon spending another day in the sign just behind yours. This transit points to the need to retreat or rest more than usual. Ideally, through a bit of discontent, you find ways to upgrade certain areas of your life. Virgo. Your need for psychic space, time out, or some form of retreat is often dominant these days with the sun in your privacy sector, dear Virgo. Still, today's Sun-Uranus square can challenge your need to relax and unwind. Uranus in your solar ninth house contributes to a desire to expand, grow, learn, and connect. While these urges are important, they stand in contrast to the quieter, healing activities you seek. In truth, there can be an inner conflict between seeking out new experiences and getting time to process recent ones. Finding a way to balance all that you want to do and what you feel you should do for better physical and mental health can be difficult, but it is what you need at the moment. Keep in mind that you'll do nothing well if you don't refresh yourself. It makes sense to confront aspects of yourself or past choices that may be blocking current success. Libra. You can feel rather touchy in areas where you've been feeling confined or limited today, dear Libra. You might instead deal with conflicting feelings for a person or project. Opening your mind to potential disruption seems the best strategy now. Instead of rebelling against what feels like pressure to conform or to fit in, consider more constructive, moderate ways to reduce the tension or express your individuality. This way, you can make empowering choices and improvements. Changing your methods and pulling yourself out of the usual patterns can be just what you need if you feel unfulfilled. There's no use expecting different results from the same approach. You might discover something entirely new and valuable from a detour or schedule change. Scorpio. With the sun at the top of your solar chart these days, dear Scorpio, you might often prioritize your work and goals. Today's Sun-Uranus square tends to pit your responsibilities against your need for companionship or a focus on relationships. It's best to identify areas of your life that require a change or a new approach instead of falling back on the same behaviors that keep frustrating patterns alive. If someone is giving you space when you'd prefer to be close, let it happen and then take the time to examine what it is you want and need. You won't thrive if your actions are dictated by what someone else is or isn't doing, especially if they don't return the favor. Aim to break out of habits that don't serve you well and instead focus on making steady progress and improvements. The moon spends the day in your spirit sector, helping you find your path to fulfillment without having to rely too much on others. Sagittarius. Today's Sun-Uranus square can point to surprises that catch you off guard in spots, dear Sagittarius. At the heart of restlessness can be a need for a change of pace. One Uranus lesson is that you may not learn a better method if you stick too rigidly to a routine or plan. Aim to adapt and be as flexible as possible if there are changes in plans. Nevertheless, a lack of organization can get in the way of your broader goals, and you might decide to resolve to be more prepared next time. If you need more independence and freedom in your work, you might look into ways to make this happen but avoid rushing in the meantime. Capricorn. Today's Sun-Uranus square today can create some misunderstandings, dear Capricorn, or it can leave you feeling a little torn. One of the lessons of Uranus is to be willing to let go of a pattern or habit that's holding us back so that we can magnetize more positive energy into our lives. With the sun in your solar 8th house these days, you seek more from your activities and perhaps a little more from the people in your life as well. With Uranus in your 5th, however, your approach may be playful or flippant. These two drives are more glaringly in conflict today. It makes the most sense to make your own choices rather than merely react to others. Centering yourself in this manner can be helpful. The moon spends the day in your partnership sector, amping up emotions related to relationships. Aquarius. Resolve to make your own choices rather than give in to rebellious or reactive moves, dear Aquarius. With Uranus in a clashing aspect to your sign these days, you can sometimes feel resistant or in a place where you can't see your need for small personal changes or a change of pace. Taking steps to move out of your comfort zone is the path that empowers you, although it doesn't always feel intuitive. Today, with the Sun square Uranus, changes of plans or schedules may temporarily throw you off balance, but they can also lead to rewarding experiences. You could find it hard to satisfy an itch, especially if you're not entirely sure of its origin, but it can help if you look for something to update and improve. If you've been feeling some unrest or feelings of restriction, you're likely to want to handle the situation. Pisces. With the Sun and Uranus in conflict today, dear Pisces, a change of plans, unreliability, or a shift of interests can temporarily disrupt the flow. However, you can redirect yourself in the face of schedule changes or surprises, since friction can motivate you to make changes that truly benefit you. It can be a real challenge to agree with others right now, as they can be very wrapped up in their own desire for freedom. If others are pushing your buttons, try to keep a cool head. Talking openly and honestly about issues may be energy draining but ultimately helpful. The moon spends another day in your sector of creativity, romance, and entertainment, and you continue to seek your joy. Making more time to enjoy and express yourself comes naturally.